Well, yes, indeed. Babajide Ogunsanwo, our data and information analyst, joins us next as we take a look at the plan to end recession. That's federal government's plan to end it. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Well, you looked into that huge document, and how did it turn out for you?
There are lots of ways we can look at it, and I brought this especially for
what would this be?
for you. So you need to open it up right now, but you probably just be
Right
careful.
now?
Right now, right now, right now, right
Go
now.
ahead, open it.
Open a Greek gift.
Let's see what you
What
have
is
in
this?
stock for you.
Just be careful so nothing jumps out.
What would this be? Are you sure this is for me?
Yes, it is.
Because it doesn't look like it's for me.
It's a Barcelona jersey. So today it's to look at
Okay.
what does the Barcelona and PSG game have to do with economic growth and recovery. So we've seen the Barcelona versus PSG, and today we're looking at the economic recovery versus recession. So 3 questions. Are there similarities between that game that happened less than 48 hours ago and the plan to get us out of recession? The second question is, what lesson can we learn from the Barcelona versus PSG game? And the third question is history on our side on this economic recovery and growth plan? So it's going to be a lot of comparing this game or that game to the economic recovery versus recession. So we talked about the first question. Are there any similarities between that game and this? And yes, there are. Let's look at one. So an unlikely or relatively unknown player, Sergio Roberto, scored the winning goal. The importance of that is success can come from the most unlikely place. And so today in Nigeria's economy, we've also got 46 players. What do I mean by 46 players? There are 46 activity sectors that are involved in our own economic football match. And just like Barcelona, that have 3 top players, Suarez, Messi, and Neymar, we also have our own top 3 players that contribute to 46% of the goals we score. In simple terms, 46% of our GDP, approximately 50%, comes from only 3 sectors. What are these sectors? Trade, crop production, and telecommunication. But can any of these sectors really help us out of the recession? And so let's look at our own top striker, trade, that contributes the largest out of these 46 activities to the economy. The evidence shows that last year, compared to 2015, the trade sector declined by 28.5 billion naira. That's our top striker. In simple terms, here's what it means. Our trade sector is not in form. So let's look at what sectors are in form. We've got 46 sectors. The evidence, again, from the NBS shows that we only have 21 sectors that are in form. So the arithmetic simply means 2 things. The first is trade, which is our biggest sector, may not necessarily be our economic angel.
Are you saying we're likely going to have a relatively unknown sector, be the angel?
So, just like Sergio Roberto scored the winning goal, we are most likely to have a relatively unknown sector to assist us and to guide us out of the recession. And that's exactly
what that could be?
Yes, and that's what the economic recovery and growth plan is all about. And that makes us ask the second question. Now, what is this second question? The second question is, what lesson can we learn from the Barcelona versus PSG game? And the lesson is quite simple. Now, let's look at what happened in the game and what is happening in the economy. And we'll clearly be able to see that in the Barcelona versus PSG game, we had a result that wasn't wasn't expected. And we look at the economy today, and we look at part of the things that were clearly said, which means that the government is looking at improving luxury tax, for instance, from 5% to 15%, part of the economic recovery plan. But the lesson is, sometimes the end result is more important than how you achieve it. So today nobody really talks about if the goals of the referee was biased or exactly how they scored. It all boils down to the end result. The end result sometimes is more important than how the result is achieved. So how does the government want to achieve the result? It's important, yes. And like I said, luxury tax increasing from 5 to 15%. Corporate income tax and value-added tax based on the government's new blueprint. 350 billion naira annually. Yes, that's a great plan. To increase oil production to 2.5 million barrels per day by 2020. Is that a great plan? Yes, it is. To ensure that we become a net exporter of petroleum products by 2020. Is that a great plan? Yes, it is. But that is all about how they intend to achieve the results. What Nigerians are really concerned about is just achieve the damn result. Not about really how you will go about it. At the end of the day, nobody will remember how the government achieved it. What people really want as a result.
Don't you think that since they are dealing with all of those variables, they need to show people to say that yes, indeed, we do have the formula and we're not working from the answer?
And that is important, and they've done that. But at the end of the day, the formula is just one part of it. Making sure the formula gives you the result is what is the second part. And so they've got a 140-page beautiful document that has all the formulas. But perhaps their quote on page 10 of that document summarizes today's Nigeria. And here's it. They say, majority of Nigerians remain under the burden of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. So let's quickly talk about these three things before we talk about the final analysis of the third thing. The first is poverty. The document says 61% of Nigerians live on less than $1 a day. In simple terms, 6 out of 10 Nigerians go to bed hungry. Let me make myself more clear. 6 out of 10 Nigerians don't even have a bed to go to at night. And that's what poverty is. The document talks about inequality. So what is inequality? And the National Deposit Insurance Commission gives us that answer. The inequality part was answered last year when the NDIC had said only 2% of Nigerians account for 90% of the 17 trillion naira deposits that we had in the banking system. The arithmetic is simple. It simply means 98% of Nigerians, 98%, have on an average only 25,000 naira in the bank accounts. Now the third thing is unemployment. Okay. The most recent figures, 18.3 million Nigerian youths between that age bracket of 15 to 34 have either little to do or nothing to do.
What do we then do to get us out of this recession?
We then need to look at which sectors are growing, and we need to be more creative about it. And by being creative, let me give you an instance of one of the things we could do that even the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, even though it focused on a lot of good things, they didn't mention. Malaria. Malaria today is the number one reason why the economy isn't productive. And I'll explain. So this Economic Recovery and Growth Plan mentioned Boko Haram. Yes, Boko Haram, we have an issue with Boko Haram. 4 mentions of Boko Haram within that document. But the evidence from even the Global Terrorism Database shows that between the 10-year period, 2006 to 2015, Boko Haram has killed approximately 18,000 people. 18,000. So the numbers are huge.
Okay. Let's jump to this because they give us these figures about the plan to get people back in jobs.
And the plan to get people back in jobs is an interesting plan. So we're looking at looking at where we were approximately 10 years ago, when we had only 8 million people that were unemployed and underemployed to today when we have an additional 20 million people from 2007. So today we have 27 million people that are either unemployed and underemployed. A large proportion of that of 27 million, 18.3 million are youths. And so the government has said within the next 4 years, they want to create 15 million jobs and approximately about 3.7 million jobs per annum. But here's what history shows. History shows that between 2012 and 2015, that 3-year window, the economy grew by 16%. And even though we grew by 16%, cumulatively, we grew by 16%, total number of jobs created, only 4 million. Now, this blueprint shows that between 2016 and 2019, the economy won't be growing as much as 16%. It will be growing by 12%. However, the number of jobs that will be created, 10 million. So history is not on the side of the economic recovery and growth plan. However, the Barcelona and PSG game lets us know that sometimes, even though history isn't on your side, you can achieve results. And in the final analysis, we talked about malaria being one way that can get us out of recession. I talked about Boko Haram killing 18,000 people. The global burden of disease said in 2015, approximately 193,000 Nigerians died of malaria just in 1 year. So look at the Barcelona stadium, for instance, and quietly picture that stadium filled with dead people. Two of the Barcelona stadium filled with dead Nigerians. That's the number of people malaria kills per year. And so we are unproductive because we spend time on our hospital beds to treat malaria. We spend time grading families that have malaria. We spend time.
So we need to tackle the malaria to get out of recession.
Reducing the number of deaths and reducing the number of families that have malaria will improve the productivity of the economy, and that's one creative way to get out of recession.
Thank you very much indeed, Jide Ogunso, Channel CV's data and information analyst. That's the show today as well. Well, thank you all for watching. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
And thanks for watching. I'm Gimba Omar.